Hey guys, welcome to Clockwork, down to Noodles. Welcome back to the channel. Happy 2024. This is the 13th episode of the Apothecary Diaries. Hello and welcome to the Noodle Bowl. If you are new to the channel, we have broken down the first half of the show and they should be all in a folder. I think it's named reviews. If you are finding me for the first time, the rest of the reviews are already up. But hello and welcome. We have a new season, a new year ahead of us, and we have got the second half of the Apothecary Diaries to break down. We've got a new OP, a new ED, lots of stuff to go into, and I'm going to go into the OPs and EDs specifically into some depth, just because I actually think there's a lot more that they're trying to say with the OPs EDs this time round. Thank you for coming back, guys. If you haven't already, make sure you guys are subscribed, and I hope you guys have had a fantastic Christmas and a happy new year. And thank you so much if you are back after the break and you've come back to listen to my thoughts on this episode in particular. I think this is going to be a long video, but I will see what I can do about making sure I cut down on the fluff. So let's get straight to it with the first opening scene being Jinshi and the Emperor. This is a very interesting sequence in particular because Jinshi says that he can't actually achieve something. It's something that he himself, no matter how much he trains, no matter how much he does something, he can't achieve something. I don't know what it is in particular. He doesn't actually state what it is, but he does state that he's going to continue playing to the Emperor's whims because it allows him to get what he wants in a way, or it allows him to live the way that he wants. There's a nice bit of power dynamic going on with the camera angles chosen, but it is our welcome back scene. I will say with the OPED, the character focus has shifted. So I do actually think that the show is now focusing in on Jinshi in particular. He is actually the main player in the OPs EDs. He's more core to what's going to happen. The OP is quieter and slower, so it's a bit more slow paced. I do miss the original song. Song wise, I miss the old one, but visuals are a lot. There's a lot going on. So initially we have this dollhouse effect, which I think is really, really nice, where every sequence slides into another one and it gives off this stagey effect where all the characters on screen slide into place. It's just the daily life within the court of Jinshi, which I think is really nice. There is the bare-chested Jinshi already in the OP, giving me a teaser for what's about to happen in this episode in particular. I will say Jinshi appearing more bare-chested in the OP's EDs. I need a fan, this guys. He's certainly showing a bit more skin in the OP's EDs for the second half. Jinshi in disguise. Perhaps this is Jinshi, perhaps it's somebody who really looks like Jinshi, but it would seem in this sequence that he is in town with Mao Mao, shall I call her now. It's very nice, it's light-hearted, it's slow. It would be nice if we do get a few more happier scenes because it does feel a bit more light-hearted in the sequences. There's a lot of having fun between the two of them. I love the symbology of this sequence though, so let's now talk about this sequence in particular with this character who I think is going to be very, very important down the line. The symbolism of the wilting flowers in particular is an interesting one, but blue roses are actually not found in nature. What blue roses do symbolize is the idea of mystery, but an unobtainable dream. So blue roses don't just occur, they have to be synthesized to actually occur within nature, so they are scientifically produced, if you get me. Something with this character in particular, because we see him right at the end as well, something is unobtainable. Something that this guy wants cannot be attained. It's never going to happen. I don't know what he wants yet. Don't know enough about the guy. I've definitely got my eye on you, mate, and your monocle, which is cool. So I've got my one eye on your monocle right now because there's something about you is going to be important. The OP is telling us this. Anime shows in particular, if there is a random character in an OP, they're gonna mean something. Because anime is short, they don't really have time to just shove a random side character into an OP. So you know the people they're putting on the screen are very, very important. I do think the OP is a little bit heavy-handed with its spoilers because of this frame in particular. Do I think it's Jinshi? Yes. Do I think it could be somebody else? Maybe. I think I'm gonna sit on my reasoning with this one just because I don't want to go into spoiler territory. Obviously, when it comes to spoilers, we now have a moderator. So I'm going to do my best to not spoil, but I don't actually know the story. So if I accidentally spoil something, it's because I have worked it out because the anime is giving me the clues. I just want to be pleasantly surprised. Now, I love the frame of the virtuous consort. I thought it was great. She looks absolutely bored out of her brain in her chair and her ghost is literally leaving her body. But aside that, the OP for me, great visuals, a little bit spoilerish, lots of hidden deep deep meanings, beautiful lighting, beautiful soundtrack in just general, but I do prefer the original OP. Now, going in to Mao Mao, now returning to work, she's actually going to the outer court, so I did get it quite wrong. I also thought the carriage sequence would be more, so I'm a little bit disappointed. That was really just it, but it was a really nice sequence in particular. We're actually going to Jinshi's house in the outer court. We're a bit further out than we were before. It's interesting to see that she can't get her job back as a food taster because she got fired, so they can't just reinstate her because it would be a bad thing. Her dad stating that she can't bring it with her because they think she's going to be poisoning someone. An interesting line coming from him in particular. Just felt a little bit ominous. It was a very nice sequence. I love the lighting on her face when she's curled up on the floor because it looks like a cage on her face, but we're actually told that Mao Mao, she's actually allowed to return home now, which I think is a bit more of a freedom. So as opposed to last time, she's got more freedom to come and go as she pleased. Maybe that's just because she's not in the palace in particular. She's now in the outer courts. So I like the fact that as well that they said there's a lot of public officers in the outer courts. So it's world building. I gave this show the best anime of the season last season. One of the big things for this show in particular was just the level of lore, level of world building. The fact that I now know that there's an office all to do with waterworks. Anything to do with dams, channels, water, you name it, there's an office for that. The amount of details that the show gives me, I absolutely love it. Mao Mao, absolutely gorgeous. I love her makeup, the eye makeup in particular. I think is absolutely gorgeous. I love the Jinshi shock face. You can see that he's blushing a little bit, trying to not look at her. I love the hair as well. The way that she styles her hair reminds me a bit of a bunny. They both have their winter coats on, which the cloaks, and they've got the furry collars. I really want to make one. I am really tempted to make one of these cloaks at some point. I don't know whose I'll make yet. I really like it. I think it's nice. I like the attention to detail, showing you that it's winter. We're wearing an extra layer. We need to have some fur in there. The fabrics are heavier, so I like those details. And Jinshi about to say you're beautiful, but they're not, and then getting jealous that the boys are all looking at her, and then you have to have those freckles back on your face. My boy, you jealous? You're trying to say something. And I'm sad as well because I think she's absolutely gorgeous without the freckles. So now I've got to have her with the freckles again. I mean, I'll take her either way, but I was really liking her without them and being her true self. Thanks, Jinshi. I don't appreciate that one. So back in the palace, we have now Xiao Mao. Presumably it's because she can't have the same name that she had when she was fired, despite the fact that she looks the same. And to anybody who knew her before, it's her. They know it's her. I don't know if she's allowed to go back into the rear palace or not, go meet up with her gossip friend, as I used to call her. She seems to have limitations being the court she's in, because he does state don't go near the military section. I don't know why that would be there. I don't know whether it's just because, you know, women shouldn't be looking at men training or something or that like that. Maybe it's because, you know, the military is a very violent art, perhaps. Their fragile minds can't take it. I don't know. I just found that quite interesting, the fact that that's the one area you can't go any further. You're not allowed to go any further. The episode just decides to give me a nosebleed out of nowhere when we have Jinshi just, please, man, it's the first episode of 2024 for Apothecary Diaries, and I'm here having a nosebleed looking at your bare chest. Thank you, Jinshi. I appreciate it, but I need to open a window. It's getting hot in here. Mao Mao to take the court lady exam. I don't actually know why Jinshi presumed she would pass it, but I know she is a very smart person, so he was probably presuming she would just ace it, and she just doesn't. I love the fact that she says it's impossible for me to show interest in something I have no interest in. Me too. I can be super smart when it's something I'm interested in. If I have no interest, I am the dumbest person alive. Now, the evil glare moment with the age and she's aide between her, I think I'm dumb. I didn't get this section. I don't particularly know why he was trying to stop her asking for a house change. What he was glaring at her for. Then she asks for the stable, and then he's even like more riled up. I don't understand what they were trying to communicate non-verbally with this sequence, but it was a funny sequence. Mama does say there's a lack of medicinal herbs in the outer court. Presumably her dad perhaps didn't work there as much, or if he did work there, he didn't have a great deal of time to plant any. We do see medical herbs at the end when she's walking towards the military court before she's scolded and told not to by a character who I think means something, but I have no evidence just yet. The only reason why I'm starting to be on this don't go near the military thing is because they didn't give a reason why not to. medical herbs leading up to that hill, and the hill is actually in the OP, and it starts the OP off. Clearly something about that hill is super important, and I just don't have the evidence just yet, but I'm just loving the fact that I'm having to dig around. I'm looking at the OPs and trying to find all the evidence that the show is trying to offer me. Maomao also saying how high up is Master Jinshi. I know, girl, I know. No matter wherever you go, there's always going to be this toxic competitive nature between the women. So it's been the inner court, the outer court, the concubines are all competitive to each other. The slapping of Mao Mao. Oh, I'm so sad. My girl got slapped. She didn't mince her words, and she perhaps should have maybe just sugarcoated it a little bit. They're mainly just jealous because she's with Jinshi. That's the only real reason why they're jealous in particular. So Mao Mao pulling out the "he's so heavenly, he has pitied a poor girl like me." Obviously the cleverest card, and then they obviously bear her no heed and then walk off. No matter where you go in the palace, this is always going to be the nature between all of the women. They just see each other as threats. I guess any newbie is also a threat as well. Maomao failing her exam and looking exactly like me on a daily basis. I feel like my bags are just getting worse. I am certainly overworked, and I did enjoy my break from the channel for 5 days, but I was still doing other work, and I still think I look awful. But I am actually flying out in 2 days as well, so I'm trying to get this video up before I fly out. The hill at the end, I've already mentioned, is in the OP. It feels really important, but the herbs also being back in this area also is why I'm saying it feels important, because up until this point, she said there's no actual herbs in this section of the palace. Now, the lady who hits her and tells her that she can't go any further, she also feels really important, because when she was with the rest of the women, she's the only one who had a bit of a refined nature to her. I don't know, there was something which made her stand out to me when I first met them. And then when she hits her and walks off and tells her not to go somewhere, Maomao says she smells of sandalwood and something bitter. That got my attention, just because the anime has spent some of its precious 20-minute runtime on giving me that line. It makes me think it's important. Don't have any evidence to why she's important just yet. Now let's talk about the guy at the top who is looking down at her. I don't know if that means he's working in the military, and that maybe that's why they don't want her to go to the military. But this dude here is also in the OP. He is the one behind the wilting flowers, the beautiful sequence that I broke down, meaning that he is trying to achieve something that is unobtainable. Don't know what it means yet, don't have enough evidence, but I know this guy's important, so we're definitely going to see him a bit more. Obviously, we see a pipe at the end being handed down. I don't know if I've recognised the pipe. I probably have seen the pipe, and I'm not connecting the dots right now. That's fine. With this show in particular, it's okay to go at your own pace, I think. Let's talk about the new ED. It's very Jinshi orientated, which is why I'm telling everybody the show this time round in the last 12 episodes is probably going to be Jinshi related. Jinshi showing a lot of chest. Cannot complain. I definitely can't complain. It's a beautiful sight. It's a lot quieter than the ED and the OP. I love the lighting on Jinshi's face. Now, red is a bit of a weird one. In anime, it can mean two things. Number one, it can mean danger. It can mean something bad's going to happen. It can mean bloodshed. Don't think it quite fits with Jinshi unless he is planning something dangerous, perhaps. The second meaning is passion. It means he's got a hidden passion, and it can be love. Perhaps it's love, because he does look out the window and he sees Mao Mao. So I'm going to say it's perhaps the love aspect, where maybe he is starting to find some feelings for her, because as soon as he sees Mao Mao, his hair flies up, it lights up, his face lights up, and his world seems to get a lot brighter. Goes into the setting of the sun, but you'll see him, the frame goes back to exactly the same frame of him sitting on the windowsill, but this time it's the sun. It's a bit of a reversed norm. So normally you expect a OP to start with it being sunny, and then it goes to nighttime, then it closes down because night is the close of things. But it seems reversed in Jinshi's case, where it starts dark and then it gets brighter, and then with Mao Mao in his life, it becomes daytime. I like that aspect. The setting sun is a very nice visual. The Mao Mao and Jinshi visual together is really, really nice. Jinshi sees something that makes him cry, so there's something powerful going on with him. He's definitely dealing with some stuff. I do think that it is going to be Jinshi more central, just because we are now in his house, so it makes more sense that he's pretty much going to be in every single episode now. He was pretty much in all of the last episodes as well, but it was mainly focused on Mao Mao and her experiences. This time round, it does feel like he is the main character, and there's a lot of stuff going on with him. I love the ED in general. I think the ED's got a lot of very nice visuals going on, and the setting of the sun in particular and the rising of the sun. There also seems to be a new concubine coming in next week to fill the gap of the one that ended up leaving. Don't know what I think about it yet, but she is also in the OP, so very important character. All of the concubines are important characters, so she's coming in to fill that fourth gap. What she's going to be like, I'm not so sure. Her colour seems to be red because the Gemina crown is red. I gave her a name at the end and I completely blanked it, but we'll find out a bit more about her next week. But in general, a fantastic episode. We've got a lot of new characters to deal with, a lot of things now getting shaken up. The pacing is different, the OPEDs are different, the focus I think is generally different, so I really look forward to seeing where the show goes. As always, it's beautifully lit, beautifully detailed, the soundboard is absolutely gorgeous, and all the characters are looking insane. I can't wait to get going with this one. I can't wait to see where we're going, but also sad because when it comes to the end of this season, it is an end. It's officially, there's going to be no more Apothecary Diaries. I really hope that we either end in a good place and they go, yep, we're going to get a season 2, or if we end, it's just not a cliffhanger. Anything but a cliffhanger is what I ask for when it comes to anime. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I hope to see you guys again soon. I hope you're looking after yourselves, and I will see you for another breakdown very soon. Bye guys.